From Oshkosh Community Media Services and the City of Oshkosh, this is the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report is your preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda and an update from your City Manager.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on your City Manager's Report. I'm Emily Mikowski, your host, and today we have a special guest, John Fitzpatrick, Assistant City Manager, filling in for Mark today. So thanks for joining us today, John.
Thanks for having me, Emily.
Now we'll do the show like we usually do. First half devoted to a few current events and hot topics here in Oshkosh, and then take a little break and come back and dive right into the City Council agenda for June 24th, 2014. So first topic we have for our hot items in Oshkosh is the National Guard facility. Now, this it's been around for a little while. It was kind of deserted a while ago, and it's finally been handed over to the city. What can you tell us?
It has been, yeah. I think City Manager Roloff talked about it in his one of his recent newsletters.
Yes.
We're happy to have it. It's a pretty decent-sized facility. It's on Sawyer Street, and it looks like we have some video of that. And we've been waiting for quite a while to receive ownership of that, and we're very grateful that the National Guard turned that over to us because we have a great many storage needs. One of the bigger areas is the museum. You know, they have a lot of things that they certainly are accumulating because they're in that business, but also we have other needs from other departments, and I think we're going to have to, one of our first priorities is to make sure that the building is operational, that it's clean, because it's been closed for a while.
Kind of yucky on the inside at this point.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people would like to be inside of it right now. So we just need to get it back up to a standard that everybody feels familiar with, and then we can, or feels comfortable with, and then we can start to populate it with storage items.
Excellent. And you kind of have some rehab that we have to think about with the budget too. So that's not really built into our 2014 budget, but we're kind of trying to find some funds for that right now.
Right, because we haven't, because we didn't know when we were going to receive ownership, it was difficult to budget for that. So we have minimal budget resources right now to be able to work with to get it ready. And you know, based on the instruction that we received from City Manager Roloff, he said that's really the first priority. Let's just get it in decent working order and provide the opportunity for us to get in there and do some things safely. And then once we can get that all established, then I think we can start moving things in there. I know departments are anxious, but...
Oh, yes. And storage is always an issue. I mean, I was telling you before the show, people, just the outside person, you know, before I started working here, I don't think about where all this equipment and everything and all the excess things go. So
right, you know, it's always a need, and this will be a nice facility. It's close by and it's secure, so I think it'll provide a variety of options for several departments. Excellent.
Well, so the first step, finding funds, and then it'll be interesting to see where we go from there.
Right.
Next on our list, we've got a few events that we'd like to do a little plug for. It's event season here in Oshkosh. So first up, the Senior Center is Night on the River this Saturday for those of us who are watching before the weekend here.
Right.
Saturday the 21st, the Night on the River. It's a big event for the Senior Center. Second year they've done it. Longest day of the year.
Right. I know they received a lot of good feedback in regard to this event. I think it's open to all kinds of folks. It's supposed to be a family-oriented event. They're going to have a campfire, boat rides, music, and yard games. They're going to have all kinds of food, burgers
s'mores,
and brats.
my favorite.
S'mores. How can you not like s'mores?
Yes, and it's at a good time too. It's from 5:30 to 8:30. It's the longest day of the year, so it'll definitely be light out when you're leaving.
Right.
You don't have to worry about driving around in the dark. And yeah, like you said, all ages welcome. Bring a lawn chair.
So I think it's a good opportunity to drop in if you haven't been at the Senior Center for a while, or even if you're a regular patron of the Senior Center. It's either way. It's designed for families, and I think it'll be a nice event.
And you couldn't ask for a better spot. It's just beautiful
right?
there. So what
I hope
better
they
way
have
to
nice
showcase.
weather.
Yes, and if actually they had a note on the flyer here, if there is, you know, crummy weather, they'll be at the South Senior Center.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yes. So that's one thing to look forward to. Another event, so you can do that on Saturday, and then, or it's Friday, I think it is. But the next day on Saturday, yes.
Saturday and Sunday.
Sunday, June 22nd, from 9 to noon, the Grand Opera House is having its Grand Scoop.
They are.
And this is a special one, actually. They're celebrating their 130th anniversary, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, 130 years for the Grand Opera House. It's,
Yes.
I think for those people that are familiar with it, it's just a beautiful jewel we have in the community, and it's our responsibility to maintain that building. It's owned by the city, so it's owned by the citizens. And you
A
know,
lot of people don't know that either about the Grand Opera
I don't
House.
think so. I think some do, because we had a few years ago had to repair the roof.
Oh, okay.
But I think also for people who have children in the Oshkosh Area School District, there's a lot of activities that are established there at the Grand, and they work very closely to provide opportunities for students to learn more and more about the arts. So it's been a real treasure, I think, for the community for quite some time. And as you mentioned, 130 years.
It's a long time.
It
And this
is.
is a cool event too, but it's a little different than past years. I think you mentioned that it's going to be moving to a different spot.
It is, or if people have gone to this event in the past, I think they've gone to Opera House Square. It's my understanding that this is going to be located next to the Grand, by the
Okay.
building itself, by the parking lot area.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Still
think it's
kind of same general area,
Yep.
so if you
not
know.
too far away.
Okay.
And I think they're going to have games too.
Yes, lots of games, a lot of music, free scoop of
Refreshments.
ice cream
Right,
for
right,
everyone, which is a big draw
Yep.
to the event. I see there's a bounce house, face painting, so it's really kind of a family-friendly event. That
It's going to be held in the morning, I think.
Yes, 9 a.m. to noon.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll have nice weather for that one too.
That's right. We'll see.
And yeah, it'll be a great event. Just
Good.
stop over there after the farmers market.
Good. Right.
So moving on here, our next item for the first half of the show, our last item too, is the Aviation Business Park groundbreaking ceremony. This is kind of some hot news. I was just in a meeting yesterday for planning the groundbreaking on
Okay.
this. We decided on a date. It's going to be, I think, August 1st, that morning, early
Okay.
morning, 8:30. So keep your eye out for some more things going on with that. We have a lot of fun things planned. I don't want to give anything away quite
Okay.
yet, but it is during the EAA week at the very tail end of that.
Okay.
So it should be pretty
Well,
interesting.
for people that aren't aware of that project, or aren't quite that familiar with it, I know it's a project that City Manager Rolfe has talked about before on the show, and,
yeah.
and also it's a collaborative project that we're working on with Winnebago County. So the idea is to try to take advantage of that resource that we have in our community here, the airport, and really provide an opportunity maybe to attract commercial business there from a practical niche, not air travel, but air business. So there are a variety of other things that go into that, and a lot of different companies that have an interest in that sort of a venue where commercial passenger traffic is not made available. So
And here's some video of where it's going to be. Right
Right.
now it doesn't look like much.
right.
But like you said, it's been a huge collaborative project for a number of years now, and it's finally happening.
Yep.
So-
We're very fortunate to be able to work with Winnebago County, and they work very hard to try to make this a possibility, and we're grateful for their hard work, and they stuck with it for quite some time, because I know it was a difficult negotiated process, but we're happy, and we think that it will provide many opportunities for the area, and that's what the county is involved in, just as we are. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes, and so again, groundbreaking on August 1st, starting at 8:30 a.m. Keep your eye out for some more information on the city website, as well as some invitations and things like that. So it looks like we're just about done with the first half of the show. We're going to take a quick break here on City Manager's Report, and when we return, we will dive right into the City Council agenda for June 24th, 2014. We'll be right back on City Manager's Report.
Hi, I'm Mayor Bergtauer, and I'm asking for your help. The city has several boards and commissions that play important roles in just about every aspect of local government. Whether it's the Parks Board or the Landmarks Commission, these and other boards act as a forum for citizens to address their concerns and questions about Oshkosh city government. The boards also provide members the opportunity to make positive suggestions to the council or city staff to move the city forward. So here's where we need your help. For our city to work effectively, we need active citizen participation. Many of our boards and commissions currently need members. We're asking for just a few hours of your time each month to serve on one of our boards or commissions and help to ensure a strong democratic process. So please consider serving on a city board or commission. For an application, visit the city website, stop by the city manager's office in City Hall, or call 236-5000. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to your possible involvement.
Welcome back to your City Manager's Report, and thank you for joining us. Now it's that time of the show to go ahead and jump right into the City Council meeting agenda for June 24th, 2014. So John, the first item we have on here is dealing with some borrowing for the Wisconsin retirement system. And this is a little vague to me, but from my understanding, it's to pay off a pension liability. Maybe you want to explain that a little bit to us.
I'd be happy to explain this. This is this research associated with this goes back a little ways, and what this really involves is the money that we owe the state of Wisconsin for people who were involved in other pension systems before we joined the state of Wisconsin's retirement system. So, for example, before we were partners in the Wisconsin retirement system with employee trust funds, we had a pension system for like our police officers and our firefighters. And then when we talked to the Wisconsin retirement system, we said, hey, we have this old pension, these old pensions, we'd still like to join, provide this opportunity for our employees. And they said, sure, we'll let you join up, and we'll accept these other folks that you have responsibility for, but you're going to have to pay for those folks. It's still going to be your responsibility. You have to pay for that. And it's not uncommon. It's very common for all municipalities to have that, and they call it prior service. That's how it's described, and we get billed for that when we have to submit our contributions to the retirement system on a regular basis. So it's something that we've had a responsibility to pay for quite a while, and we look at it periodically to try to determine whether or not it's something that we should pay off. And more recently, when we did, when Moody's came in and took a look at our financial position,
right,
we asked them more directly about that issue, and would it be to our advantage to pay that off or not? How would they consider it? And the good feedback they provided to City Manager Roloff was, that they would consider it a liability regardless of whether or not it was owed to the state or whether or not we took out another separate loan to pay that off.
And so really what this loan will be doing, we're taking out a loan to pay off the liability,
right.
The liability pension. And really, is that going to where is that going to save us money? Really mainly in the interest for the loan,
It is.
Or
it
for
is.
the pension.
That will be the major portion of it. And when we looked at it over time, because there's so many components to the formula associated with how the liability is established and how things have changed over time, it's really in our best interest to pay it off. So we thought that. We also double checked and had our financial consultants take a look at it. And after they did the analysis, over a 20-year period, we're going to be able to save about $14 million. So
Really?
It's something that is well worth doing.
Definitely. And so I'm looking at the agenda here. This is a big number. So what we're doing on Tuesday is approving that borrowing. So after Tuesday, that's going to be happening right away.
We're going to work with the state trust fund loan to accomplish that, and I know we're looking forward to, although we're still going to have the responsibility, that liability is going to be there, we'll over time be able to save money, and that's what we're about here.
Yes.
For the citizens.
Excellent.
So.
Well, moving on to our next item here, something that I really enjoy talking about. We've been talking about it for a long time, and it's finally happening here. The mobile command unit that the police department has acquired is finally here. I think I
Right.
saw it out in the parking lot this morning.
I saw it this afternoon.
Yes.
So yeah.
So the item here on the agenda is to accept a financial donation for that unit, mainly for the truck wrap, the artwork that's going to be going on the outside of it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's something that I know City Manager Roloff and you have talked about in the past, and it's something that I think will provide a lot of opportunities for our police department and also for our ability to reach out to citizens. And one of the big focuses that we have is just neighborhood initiatives, and we look forward to the opportunity to use this as a vehicle where we can go into the neighborhoods, talk to citizens, provide an opportunity for them to reach out to us. And I think Chief Groyle and his staff do a good job with a motto that they have, and I don't know how familiar the citizens are with it, but we as employees are, and it's know us before you need us. And I think that it really speaks volumes in regard to what their focus is and how they take a look at their responsibilities. And this vehicle will be
It looks awesome.
will be a vehicle for that.
Yes, and I know the tagline that you just said, "Know us before you need us." It's a little hard to see on screen, but it does say that on the
good.
vehicle, as well as a few of the sponsors. So the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation played a huge part in this
They
mobile
did.
command unit.
We're very grateful for all their assistance and for all the people who helped donate money to the foundation to allow this to happen. So I think it's not only an outreach vehicle, certainly it's going to be used in tactical situations when we need to use it. Hopefully we don't need to use it as much as it might be necessary, but it'll be something that'll be put to good use, certainly.
Yes, we'd like to be using it for community outreach, but
Absolutely.
it's also available in case of any kind of emergencies. And
Right.
you see that thing driving down the road, you're not going to miss it in your neighborhood.
That's
so.
right. That's right. No, it's a pretty impressive vehicle. I got a chance to take a look at it on the inside too. And
Oh yeah, okay.
they wouldn't let me sit in the driver's seat for safety reasons,
Oh
of
no,
course.
they didn't trust
but-
you back there, huh?
No,
Up
no,
there.
wisely, but no,
So-
it's very impressive, and I think it'll be another tool that we can use very effectively for our organization and for the citizens.
Yes, and in the future here, within the next couple of weeks, I'm thinking they're going to be giving the council a little bit of a tour. Oshkosh Community Media Services is also going to be getting a tour, so make sure
Yep.
you tune in for that. We'll have that airing on Channel 10 for everyone to see what it looks like inside. 'Cause
Sure.
it's pretty cool in
It
there.
is pretty cool.
It's very cool. So moving on down the agenda here, we've got a lot of special events approvals, so we'll fly through those, and then we got to get our little plug in here for the boards and commissions. We're going to be approving a few appointments to the library, bicycle and pedestrian. What else do we have? Committee on Aging, Bid Board, and Housing Authority. So what that item is, approve the appointments to those boards, right?
Right, the mayor makes those appointments. It's his responsibility to do that, and he takes a look at all the applications that we have on file, and also talks to people that have served on the board, try to determine whether or not they want to continue if their term is up.
Okay.
So it's a process that he goes through, and he thinks about it very carefully, receives input from all kinds of folks, other council members, and but also I know that we never have enough applicants, and that's something that I think, since we're talking about this, if we could stress that idea that if people are interested in serving on a board or commission, we would welcome their participation.
And there's always openings, like you said. There's a lot of different boards, so really depending on what your interest is, you just check it out and see where you want to make a difference. And it's really easy to apply. You just go to the city website under I Want To, apply for, and the boards and commissions are right there. So you can go ahead and take a look at the list of the boards and commissions, a little bit of a description.
I think there is a description if you click on some of those individual items. And, for people, I hope they don't feel intimidated. It's their community, and we would welcome their participation. That's where all the great ideas come from, is through active citizen participation, and we certainly encourage them to do whatever they can. I know they're very busy, but if they could share a little bit of their time with us, I think it certainly makes the community better for everyone.
Definitely. And these boards are actually, they're kind of like the behind the scenes a little bit, they're making a huge difference, but not a lot of people see them.
And just to talk a little bit about how that process works, they'll participate and they'll work with the ideas that are initially brought forward by staff or by citizens, and then formulate some ideas, and oftentimes then their recommendations go to the city council, and then the city council decides whether or not to approve or disapprove. I mean, ordinarily, because of the good work that the boards and commissions do, it's very rare for the council to ever disagree with their actions. But sometimes they have additional information that may have not been available to the board, and that'll make a difference.
Okay.
Some of the boards, some of the commissions too, don't bring activity to the council. Their responsibilities are separate from the council.
Okay.
Like, for example, the Police and Fire Commission and some of the other commissions that we have. So they have a unique function, but it really takes all those boards and commissions for us to function properly. So
it definitely does. And they're really the voice of the community.
Absolutely.
So moving on to our next item here on the agenda, it's an approval of some bicycle lanes on Sawyer Street. And this was actually proposed through Bike and Ped and traffic boards, right?
Right. I think it's a good segue. We were just talking about the
Yes.
committees, and I know the Bike and Pedestrian Committee does a great job. I know some of the members of that committee. I know they're very dedicated and passionate
Yes.
about multimodal transportation. And I think we are becoming a much more diverse community in terms of the transportation options that we can provide the citizens. We talk about the waterways, and biking is just another venue to allow people to access all the great things that our community provides. And I think the plans that they're working on are really designed to try to connect some of the pieces that exist. I know you had a chance to talk to Ben Krummenauer.
Yes, he kind of explained to me a little bit, educated me a little bit on what's actually happening on Sawyer Street and what they're doing in order to put bike lanes in, which is actually, it's a nice safe spot for bikers to ride on the road instead of the sidewalk or where the cars are driving.
Right.
And so in order to do that, Sawyer Street right now is 4 lanes, 4 driving lanes, 2 going one direction, 2 going the other. What they're going to be doing is shrinking it down, putting it on a road diet, which is what he told me.
That's the technical term.
A road
they use,
diet.
yes.
I love that term.
Yeah.
But they're going to be shrinking it down to 2 lanes of driving, 1 in each direction, and then a shared turn lane in the middle with the bike lanes on either side.
It looks like that there's a graphic that's up on the screen now, and the way to view that graphic is to think about it if you're looking at it from above. So if you look at that first example, the section of street there, 5th Avenue to Witzel, there's parking on both sides of the street, and then on the inside of that there's some bike lanes, and then driving lanes. It looks like on the middle there,
what I just described. Yeah, it's changing
described.
throughout the street as it's not the same consistent look of the street. You got to change it up depending on boulevards and
and they want to make sure that it's safe for everybody involved, the pedestrians, the bikers, and also the drivers. So when they establish the bike lanes, it may be a little bit more challenging for the bikers, but they want to make sure that they keep their safety in mind. That's paramount.
Definitely.
So.
And this is a great example of the boulevarded area, I guess
Exactly.
you could say, for Sawyer Street.
Right. On the northern end of Sawyer Street, there's more of a boulevarded area there.
And so, there will be some parking that is removed from some areas, and there'll be parking added in other areas.
Right.
So that's something to keep an eye out for once these changes do take place, as well as I know, like you said, when we first started out on this topic, and Ben wanted us to make sure we stressed this, is really it's connecting all of the bike lanes in Oshkosh, connecting Oshkosh through the bike ridership. So
Exactly.
it's really cool. I think that the bike population and public transit, everything's been skyrocketing lately, and I think it's great.
And I think a lot of our activity with the Riverwalk, and then also the pedestrian walk across the Butamore Bridge, a lot of more people are engaging in bicycling activity and walking, and that's great for the community too. I should also mention, I think because this is a new ordinance, I don't believe any formal action is going to be taken at this meeting. But it's something that we thought we'd just get out there for people to be aware of, so they know that it's coming.
Excellent. We'll move on to our next item here. A little bit different than the bike lanes is dealing with some alcohol beverage licenses.
Right.
And this is kind of changing up the renewal schedule a little bit, right?
It is, and I think I can describe this a little bit for for the citizens. And actually, I think it was something that City Manager Roloff had familiarity with in some of the other places that he had worked. Right now, the way that our system has been established, we have a date certain once a year where we take a look at the status of the liquor licenses that have been issued.
No matter when they were issued.
No matter when they were issued, no matter when they might expire. So what happens is, if we issue a license and they haven't been using it, typically it's for a period of 1 year, then those licenses can be reevaluated by the council and given to someone else who can use them. So that's what the process is.
You don't want to waste a liquor license.
Right, exactly, because there's a finite amount that are available, and that's the way it's established in the state of Wisconsin. So rather than, because they might become open or unused at any time of the year, City Manager Roloff was suggesting, well, let's take a look at them when they might become available, 30 months prior to when they might become available, rather than waiting for once a year. And I think it's a good idea because we're actively taking a look at when those licenses might be able to be used by someone else. And also I think it's fair because everybody has the same time frame that they're being evaluated on. Not that it's unfair now, but I think that it's more of an equalized assessment to take a look at. So
kind of tailored to each license in a way.
It is, right. So I think it's a good idea, and it's a change in the policy. So I think it'll make it a more efficient assessment process.
Definitely. So we're moving on to our last item here is the Bowman Park Playground design. And this is kind of something that the neighborhood's been working with city staff for a while on, and it's kind of like a continuous improvement project.
It is, and also, we talked a lot earlier in the show about neighborhood activity, about citizen participation, and this process is really a microcosm of that. It looks like we have some video of Bowman Park. So when we go through the process of taking a look at a park and making changes to the playground design, we involve the community in that. We involve the neighbors in that. And we, Bowman Park has been there for a little while. And,
a little bit of work going on already.
There's a little bit of work that's going on. But what happens is we reach out to the community. We talk to them about what they'd like to see in regard to the playground equipment, how they'd like to see it designed and installed. And then we work collaboratively with them on a plan. And that's what this is. City Manager Roloff in his announcements and statements is just going to talk about the idea that staff got together with the neighbors, and they decided to go with this vendor.
You can kind of see the playground a little bit in
Yeah,
there.
I think
it's looking like it could use a little update.
I think we got our money's worth out of the equipment that's there, and we want to make sure that we're providing equipment that the citizens feel that are going to use, they're comfortable using, and that it's safe and it meets their needs.
Yeah.
So it's always a continuous process, as you mentioned. We want to always try to improve what we have for them, and it's their neighborhood, and we want them to take advantage of it.
I don't think I've been to this park. I didn't notice that it was right on the river like that. How beautiful.
It's a beautiful park. It's a very nice park.
Yes, and so really what this item is focusing on is the playground itself.
The design and installation of equipment there.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, it looks like we're just about out of time here on your City Manager's Report, so we're going to go ahead and close it off. Thanks again so much for filling in for Mark today, John. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Emily.
Always a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
So, again, the City Council meeting is this Tuesday, June 24th, 2014 at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on City Cable 10 and on our website, oshkoshcommunitymedia.org. You can also listen to it on 101.9 WOCT, which is also now online, and on the TuneIn radio app for mobile devices. Make sure you like OCMS on Facebook or follow us on Twitter for all of your community and government programming and updates, or you can check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays and past episodes of your favorite programs. Don't forget, if you do have a question for City Manager Mark Roloff, send it to ci.oshkosh.wi.us, and he'll answer it on the next episode of CMR. So thanks again so much for joining us on your City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.